Thank you for coming back to Searching for Scary. Hopefully, you guys have been able to get your horror fixes the last few weeks. Coming back this week with a new topic. It is indie horror. If you're like me, indie horror is kind of like a hit or miss, a love and hate kind of thing. I'm here to give you three solid picks that I think you're gonna like, and kind of save you the trouble, save you the time of going through like 80 different indie horror things that are complete garbage, just to find that one or two that are really, really good. So let's get started. As always, it's going to be a book, a comic, and a movie that we're recommending today. As far as the book, we have Stranded by Bracken McLeod, or McLeod. I'm not sure how you say that. Either way, it's Stranded, and it is published by Tom Doherty and Associates. So it's not a big, production. It's not a big publishing company. But it's a really solid book, and I've kind of followed Bracken now that I've read this, and he's done a few other things that are really good. This one's still my favorite from him. I don't know if you can tell on the cover of the book, but it is about a boat that is essentially in the Arctic, and they get stranded. So they're going up there to deliver supplies and things, and as they're driving, they go into a fog and realize that the boat is no longer moving. It's on, everything's working, but it's just not moving. And so they have to get out of the boat, kind of see what's going on. Obviously, it's very cold. It looks like most of the stuff around them is frozen, including, of course, the ice and things that they're on. So when they get down to the bottom, and they're in a boat, like in a lifeboat, where they're trying to get to the bottom, and then they're going to explore to find out what's going on, what's stopping the boat from moving, they realize that they have become entirely like land-based. So their ship is now in the middle of this giant chunk of ice. They don't know how it happened. There's no mark, like they ran into the land and like the ship just came ashore. Like, no, they're like in the middle of this huge piece of ice. Like, they got plucked out of the water and placed there. They don't know how. They really don't know how they're going to get back into the water, like to keep the boat moving. And on top of that, of course, they have limited supplies. They're in the freezing cold. It's still like middle of the Arctic, so you're still like in constant blizzards and things. And they're trying to find out how this happened, why this happened, and where they're at. Because now that they're clearly not in the water, they don't even know like where are they at, how far have they been going, how long had they been on this land block. It's really good. It's really it's creepy, but it's almost like to the it almost makes you scared of the weather itself, because it's very played upon, that they are in this Arctic tundra, and it's just like the one place you don't want to get stuck. Um, it's amazing. It is really good. I would say if you can, especially if you're someone who like likes the heat in the summertime, this book will kind of get you nervous of going into the cold, and even kind of made me worried about wintertime. Um, Give it a shot. It is $4 on thriftbooks.com. So again, this is one you can't go wrong with. You're gonna basically pay like the same amount for shipping. So you can get it. I want to say it's like $17 at Barnes and Noble, but it's a lot cheaper if you buy it from like a thriftbooks.com or something like that. Next is comic. Comic is Black Friday. Black Friday, and I apologize that I cut off kind of some of the cover here, but it's exactly what it sounds like. It is a comic about Black Friday. It is published by Scout Comics. They actually publish this under their kind of like horror title or horror section. So if you get the full cover, it will say Scout Comics at the bottom, and on the top left it'll say Black Caravan. Black Caravan is the name of their like horror segment. So it's really good. It actually just came out not too long ago. The cover that you're looking at here is the second print, but it's only going to be 3 issues long. So if you want to get this one, I would say get it now or get it as soon as possible, because part 2 is going to be coming out within the next week or two here. And the quick synopsis on this one, it's a guy and a girl are actually dating. They are working, it doesn't say the name of the store, but I guess it's like a Walmart kind of thing. And they're preparing for Black Friday. As they're preparing and getting everything kind of stocked and ready, they come across a blood streak, and they don't know where it came from. There's nobody there. The store isn't opened yet. They're not really sure where this would have come from. So they start cleaning it up, and as they're cleaning it up, they realize that spot that they're standing in is the exact same spot that somebody had got stabbed at last year on Black Friday. And so, just to kind of not spoil it for you, essentially the chaos of Black Friday and the violence that goes into it and the greed and all the bad stuff that comes out from Black Friday gets kind of captured in the store, and it creates something. Again, I don't want to spoil it. I'm sorry, guys. If I say too much more, it's going to spoil the last couple pages of this book, and that's really what makes it. And it also really leaves you like waiting for number 2. So I'm just dying to get my hands on the second one. Hopefully, it comes out, I believe, next Wednesday. But I will let you know there is something going on with the store. It is revealed towards the end what this like negative energy has caused. And now we're just trying to find out what's going on. Like, what are they going to do about it at this point? I don't think this is going to be like a movie or anything. I think it could be a really good, like a short movie. I mean, you could probably turn this into like an hour-long movie, like a made-for-TV thing. It's really, really good though, and it's got an immense creep factor to it once you realize kind of what's going on with the store or what has been created by this negative energy. It's really good. I liked it. I think you'll like it. I think this is a great price. Again, it's $4, so we're staying, really within a price range. I don't care who you are. If you can spare the $4 going into a comic shop, or just go to scoutcomics.com. They do have this book still. This is the second print that's $4. It's the exact same story as the first print. If you really want to get fancy with it, you can get the first print for $10 on scoutcomics.com. Those first prints do kind of retain their value, or actually increase in value, depending on how hot this comic book gets. So if you want to spend the $10, I don't blame you. I've done it myself, and it could be something that's worth some money later on if this kind of title catches on. But as always, I will link it in the description below. And lastly, we have the movie, and this is All Hallows Eve. So the picture you're looking at here, if you're not familiar with the new, I guess, character, kind of clown character, his name is Art the Clown. He is exactly as creepy as he looks, and in my opinion, he is the best clown horror character. To me, it's way better than it. It is entirely more gruesome, gorier, darker, creepier, scarier, everything than it. If you have any sort of fear of clowns, this will bring it out. To be totally honest with you, I'm not scared of clowns. It's never been like a fear of mine. This movie still creeped me out. I mean, it creeped me out to the point of like, yeah, this is... I need to go get some food. I need to do something. Give me like a minute and come back and I'll finish the rest of it. It's almost like just a non-stop slasher. But it's 3 separate movies, or it's 3 separate stories, I should say, that are kind of loosely tied together by this one like overarching kind of arc or theme. So for the quick breakdown, the main portion of the story is there's a family, there's like 2 kids, and they have a babysitter, and the kids find a VHS, I think like on their front doorstep or whatever, and they're like, we want to play, it is Halloween, the night of Halloween. So the babysitter says, yeah, we'll put it on, we'll watch it, eat some popcorn, we'll wait for your parents to get home and you go to sleep. As they're doing that, they start watching the first one. It is really like not as gruesome, but it's there. It's gory, it is scary, it's creepy, and so they're watching it, and these 2 kids are like maybe 10, and the babysitter's like, you gotta turn this off. This is too much. They put on the second tape, or the second story. It gets even worse. It just kind of ratchets up from the first one, and that one is, to me, it's probably the best story of the 3. But that one is really good. It's got a lot of just intense moments where you're constantly just like kind of waiting, like, okay, what's gonna happen? What's happening here? And I don't want to give too much about these individual stories because they're not too long. Each individual story is maybe like 20 minutes. So, if you can just sit there and watch 20 minutes, if I really say anything too specific, it's going to give it away for you. So, The second one's really good, and then the third portion or the third act of this movie is essentially Art the Clown has been tracking these people. He's the one who left the video there, and now he's at the house. So it's really good. Like I said, if you have any fear of clowns whatsoever, I don't know if you even really want to watch this. If you do watch this though, and you decide that you like it, and then it's just something that you want to keep, you want to get more of, which I did. The next movie with Art the Clown is Terrifier. You may have already seen that one. That's actually where I think more people know Art the Clown from, but that is not his first movie, surprisingly. Terrifier was a higher budget movie. It did get put onto Netflix. I think it's still on Netflix last I checked, and that is again a slasher, but that's just a one film kind of thing. It's just one movie, and I keep saying that these are slasher movies, or this is a slasher movie. That being said, though, there is supernatural elements to this. So Art the Clown, you'll quickly realize, is not just some dude. He's not like Michael Myers. He's not just some guy walking around with a knife or whatever. He is something else. They don't ever say what, and they don't really like outright say like, hey, he's not human, but he's definitely something else. Just the things that he does and the kind of like the powers they portray him having is not human. Which, as you start kind of watching it and you realize that, it just gives you a more intense creep factor at first. And I think this is kind of like a male thing. Most guys watching horror movies, your first reaction is like, oh, I'd beat him up, I'd take him, I'd hit him, whatever, I'd shoot him. Okay, great. If it's like, Michael Myers, all right, cool, shoot him, we'll be done. But these kind of movies where you can't do that, or like the attacker is not going to be dissuaded by a simple like punch to the face, makes it a lot more intense. I think this is more like a male-driven issue or arc. I find that most women and females, not only in horror movies but like in horror books and literature, have a more cerebral take on these things, and a lot of like female horror authors especially write these things from the perspective, and I don't even know if they realize it, but they write it from their perspective of, we know we can't go on and physically outmuscle this person, so we're just going to skip that step. We're going to the very next thing, which I think is overlooked, and I think it's really, really good, especially when you are kind of delving into horror, because it's immediately less scary if you tell me that someone's going to come into my house that's smaller, weaker, and doesn't can't protect themselves. Like, well, they're not much of a threat. But if you come into any horror situation knowing like, hey, look, you're not the strongest person here. I don't care how bad you think you are. This person is just, they're not going to be pushed around or messed with. I think it makes it scarier, and it does make you think a little bit more, as in like, what would I do if that were the case, if I couldn't just attack and get away from this person. Either way, this is free on Tubi. Tubi itself is actually free, which I'm glad I'm finally getting to talk about that. Tubi is a free app that you don't even need to sign up for. You don't need to put in like your email, or don't need to put in your credit card, don't need to do anything. Just download the app and you can immediately start watching shows and TVs, like TV shows and movies. And it does have commercials, that's why it's free. But they have amazing movies on there, like All Hallows Eve. They have other things like Apocalypto. They have newer movies, older movies, horror, comedies, whatever. It is basically like a knockoff HBO kind of thing. Aside from the fact that it's free, it's really, really good. If I don't care how many other streaming services you have, just go and grab Tubi if you don't have it already. Whether you watch All Hallows Eve or not, mainly for the fact that you're gonna get some really good movies for absolute free, which is just can't beat it. So, anyways, I hope that one of these sticks out to you. Hope that you are able to go and kind of get your scare on. If you do have anything that's maybe come up on your radar, something you'd like us to talk about, or something that you maybe just want the rest of the class here to find out, put it in the comments below. I'm always willing to listen. I myself am always looking for new horror stuff to check out, and appreciate any comments, suggestions. But thank you again. Please like and subscribe, and have a great day.